Kcse 2020 essay, questions 7 and 8. 7a. Explain the role of the liver in blood sugar regulation, 3 marks. When blood glucose is high, insulin hormone is produced by pancreas, stimulating liver cells to convert excess glucose to glycogen. When blood glucose is low, pancreas secretes the glucagon hormone, stimulating the liver to convert glycogen to glucose. B. Describe how human blood is adapted to its function, 17 marks. Plasma is the fluid part of blood consisting of dissolved and undissolved substances. The plasma acts as a medium in which various substances are transported in the body. It acts as a medium for various metabolic reactions and plays a role in thermoregulation. Platelets contain proteins that help in blood clotting, preventing excessive blood loss, and also prevents entry of pathogens into the bloodstream. White blood cells have an irregular shape and protect the body against attacks by pathogens by engulfing them and releasing antibodies against the pathogens. They are numerous and act as the body's defense mechanism. Red blood cells are biconcave in shape to increase surface area for diffusion of gases. They lack nuclei to allow for more hemoglobin packing. Hemoglobin has high affinity for oxygen and are numerous to increase surface area for oxygen transport throughout the body. They have anhydrase enzyme for loading and offloading carbon, 4 oxide. 8a. Explain how the presence of chloroplasts in guard cells affect the opening of stomata, 5 marks. Chloroplasts are sites of photosynthesis. During the day, photosynthesis takes place. Glucose is manufactured, and being osmotically active, it increases the internal concentration of guard cells, making them turgid and bulge outward, opening the stomata. Chloroplasts are sites for photosynthesis. When photosynthesis takes place, carbon, 4 oxide concentration goes up and the pH of the guard cells rise, favoring the conversion of starch to glucose. Then being osmotically active, it increases the internal concentration of guard cells, making them turgid and bulge outward, opening the stomata. B. Describe how various environmental factors affect the rate of photosynthesis, 15 marks. Carbon, 4 oxide concentration. Carbon, 4 oxide being a raw material for photosynthesis, increase in carbon, 4 oxide levels leads to an increased rate of photosynthesis up to a given optimum beyond where the rate remains the same due to other limiting factors. Light intensity, it provides the energy required for photosynthesis. Increase in light intensity increases rate of photosynthesis up to an optimum point, beyond which rate remains the same due to other limiting factors. Temperature, low temperatures make enzymes inactive, reducing rate of photosynthesis. As temperature increases, rate of photosynthesis increases up to an optimum. High temperatures beyond optimum denatures enzymes, reducing rate of photosynthesis. Water is a raw material for photosynthesis. It influences the opening and closing of stomata, affecting diffusion of carbon, 4 oxide in the liver. Kcse 2021 essay. Questions 7 and 8. 7. A. Explain the role of the placenta during pregnancy. 10 marks. The placenta plays the respiratory, excretory, nutritive and immunological functions. Exchange of respiratory gases, supply of oxygen to the fetus tissues and removal of carbon dioxide from the fetus takes place across the placenta. Food substances are also released into the fetus from the mother's system through the placenta. The placenta also serves as a barrier, preventing the mixing of maternal and fetus blood and harmful substances from the mother. Some hormones needed for the fetus development are also passed from the mother to the fetus through the placenta. Some antibodies needed for the protection of the fetus from infections are also passed from the mother to the focus through the placenta. Some waste products, like urea, are also passed from the fetus through the placenta. B. Explain features and mechanisms that hinder self-pollination and self-fertilization. 10 marks. Dichogamy is mechanisms where either the male or female parts of the plant reproductive organs ripen at different times in some plants. Protandry is when stamens ripen earlier and anthers release their pollen before the stigma is mature, while protogeny refers to where the stigma matures earlier, hence becomes ready to receive pollen grains. Self-sterility is where pollen grains cannot germinate on the stigma of the same plant, but only germinate on a different plant of the same species, hindering self-pollination. Heterostyle is a condition where stigma is higher or above the stamen, making it impossible for the pollen to land, accumulate and fertilize the ovules of the same flower. Dioecious plants have reproductive parts located separately on different plants of the same species, discouraging self-pollination. Monoecious plants have the reproductive parts located at different parts on the same plant, discouraging self-pollination. 8.a. Describe how the xylem tissue is structurally adapted to its functions. 5 marks. Xylem tissue consists of xylem vessels and tracheids. Xylem vessels are tubular with hollow structures running continuously from the roots through the stem to the leaves. Its walls are strengthened with lignin, preventing them from collapsing. The xylem vessels have bordered pits to allow passage of water. Tracheids have chisel-shaped ends and perforated crosswalls to allow movement of water. B. Describe the functions of blood in the human body. 15 marks. Blood plasma transports vitamins, mineral salts, and digested food materials to tissues of the body where they are needed. Hormones are also transported by blood plasma from the secretory sites to the target tissues or organs. The plasma also transports antibodies throughout the body for defense against pathogens. Plasma also transports enzymes to tissues where they are required to catalyze certain reactions. Waste products and carbon dioxide are also transported in the plasma to the excretory organs. Plasma also plays a thermoregulatory role. By distribution of heat, erythrocytes are important in the transportation of oxygen by hemoglobin from the lungs to different body tissues, and carbon dioxide from respiring tissues to the lungs for purification. Leukocytes protect the body against infections from bacteria or viruses. Platelets play a role in clotting of blood, protect damaged body tissues, preventing excessive loss of blood.